Hi, welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to continue and we will finish our work for Preloader component. In this lecture, we are going to add little bit of jQuery to hide Preloader for solo website. In last lecture, we created this nice looking preloader, and this preloader will always be shown before this web page loads. And once the content of this web page is fully loaded, then it will be taken away. In this lecture, the objective is to hide this preloader once all the content of this web page is loaded. I know right now we have just this heading as a content for this solo website, but as we move on, we will add content to this web page, and as we start adding content to this web page, then this web page will start taking some time on page load, and at that time we need to show this preloader. And once the page is fully loaded, then we need to hide this preloader. I'm going to script.js file. I'm going to add comment for preloader. I'll copy this comment and I'm going to add it inside script.js file, and I'm going to add jQuery code under this preloader comment. Okay, as I said, the objective here is to hide this preloader once all the content of this web page is fully loaded, right? And for that we are going to use jQuery window on load method. I'm going to write jQuery window on load method. First I'm going to write $. This $sign refers to jQuery library, and after that I'm going to write opening and closing parentheses. And inside these parentheses I'm going to write window. This is basically window object. So it is going to select this browser window, and then I'm going to attach on load event. I'm going to write dot, and after that I'm going to write on, and after that I'm going to write opening and closing parentheses, and inside these parentheses I'm going to attach load event like this way, and semicolon by the end of this jQuery statement. So what this line of code is going to do, it is going to select this browser window, and then it is going to monitor the load event for this browser window. Simple, right? And we need to perform some action on this window load event, and we'll perform that action using JavaScript anonymous function. I'm going to write JavaScript anonymous function right after the load event separated by comma. I'm going to write JavaScript anonymous function. I'll write function, and then I'll write opening and closing parentheses, and after that I'm going to write opening and closing curly braces. This is JavaScript anonymous function. An anonymous function is a function without name, and there is no name of this function. Now what is going to happen? On Windows on load event, this anonymous function will be executed, and we are going to define our action inside these curly braces. And the action is we want this preloader to disappear or to be taken away after window load. And let me go to index.html file. If you see, there are two parts of this preloader component. The first part is this preloader div. If I select this div, you can see the highlighted blue area inside the web browser, this one. And there is white background for this preloader div, and it is acting like an overlay on this web page, right? Second, we have this status div, which shows this yellow animating GIF image as a status. So this is kind of white overlay, and this is animating image. Now what we are going to do, we will first hide this yellow animating image, and then we will hide this white preloader div, but once the page is fully loaded. Let us do it. I'm going back to the script.js file. Inside this function, first I'm going to select this status element, this one. And to select an element using jQuery, you write $. After that you write opening and closing parentheses, and inside these parentheses you write the selector. We are going to select this status div with its ID, and to select an element with its ID you write quotation marks, and then you write hash, and after that then you write id value. In this case the id value is status. So by this way we just selected this yellow animating image. Now I am going to perform some action, and the action is to hide this yellow animating image. And to hide this image using jQuery, I am going to use jQuery fade out method. I am going to write dot, and after that I am going to write jQuery fade out method. This is jQuery fade out method. Okay, it seems that the live preview is not properly working. I will go ahead, I'll save this script, and I'm going to refresh this page. Gone. Now if I refresh this web page again, you will see status animating image for short time and then it will disappear. So the status image is fading out by jQuery. But we still don't see the content. Right now the content is this heading, this one. The reason we still don't see the content because we still have this white background div which is covering this whole web page, and we have to also take care of this. I mean, we also need to hide this white preloader div. Let us do it. I am going to select this preloader div inside jQuery. I am going to write $, and then opening and closing parenthesis, and inside this parenthesis I am going to select this preloader div, and the id value for this div is preloader. I'm going to write hash, and after that I'm going to write preloader. So by this way I just selected this white background div, and then I'm going to hide this white background div. I'm going to write dot, and I'm going to simply write fade out method. I'll save, and I'm going to refresh this web page. Gone. And now we can see the content of the Solo website. Welcome to Solo. So now we have this nice preloader, and after that we have our Solo content. Next I want this preloader div to fade out with some delay, and we can chain jQuery delay method before this fade out method. I'm going to chain jQuery delay method. I'm going to write dot, and after that I'm going to write jQuery delay method, and inside these parentheses you can specify the delay time in milliseconds. I want the delay of 350 milliseconds, which is basically 0.35 seconds and a very small amount of time. I'm going to save this script, and I'm going to refresh this web page again, and you will see all this in action. And now you can see that the white background div is fading out with delay of 350 milliseconds. Nice. Okay, let me explain this whole concept to you again. We have this window on load event, and this window on load event is going to make sure this whole website is fully loaded. Let me make note for you. So this window on load event is going to make sure for website to be fully loaded. I am going to make a note for you. Make sure that whole site is loaded, and once the whole website is fully loaded in regard of assets, then the status and preloader elements are taken away with nice fade out effect. This one. And now we have this nice preloader for Solo website. I will go ahead and I will beautify my code inside script.js file, and I will also beautify my code inside style.css file, and I will beautify my code inside my index.html file. and I will go ahead and I'll save my project files. Okay, we are done with Preloader, and if you have any question, do let me know. I would be glad to help you. Thanks, and I'll see you in next class.